Hey everyone, welcome back to Street Coders. Today we are going to solve one of the most popular coding interview question, LeetCode to sum using Java. So first we'll start with brute force approach and optimize it step by step to optimal solution. By the end of this video, you will understand thought process behind writing optimal solution. So let's get started. So here we have problem statement, right? So we have array of integer num and integer target. So we are supposed to return two numbers such that they add up to the target, right? So if you see down below, we have number 2, 7, 11 and 15 with target of 9. So we have to see here, we can see, right, 2 and 7, 2 plus 7 equal to 9. So we are supposed to return indexes of those elements, which is 0 and 1, right? So in brute force approach, we have to iterate through nested loop. Means we have to check each element and check if those two elements add up to the target or not. So you can see the array here, right? So first we will check 2 plus 11, right, which is equal to target or not. So 2 plus 11 equal to 9. It is not equal to 9, right? So we will move to the next element and again we will check 2 plus 15 if equal to 9 or not. So it is not, then we will again move to the next element, and here we'll see that 2 plus 7 equal to 9, right? So we are supposed to return the indexes of those two numbers. So 2 is present at index 0 and 7 is present at index 3. So we will return this index, right? If you in this approach, the time complexity will be order of n square, right, which is very bad. If you look at the graph here, right, so big O notation, you can see that order of n square is very bad, right? So we have to optimize it, right? So we will later in this video we will optimize it to order of n using hash map, right? But first let's write code for our brute force approach. Here I have opened IntelliJ IDEA, right? And we will write our brute force logic here. So first in this we have method toSum, right, which taking array of num and target. So we have to first iterate through this array, right? So we will write for loop, right, which is start with 0 and it will end till number of length, array length, right? Then we have to write nested for loop, right, for the second element, right? We will compare first element with second element, then third element, then fourth element, and so on, right, until we find the target, right? So right, so j second loop will start with I plus 1, which is index 1, right? And inside that we will check if number, if index I, which index value 0, at 0 we have 2, right, and index 1 we have 11, right? So we will check if equal to target, if equal to target or not. So if the two If the sum of two elements equal to target, we will return the indices of that two numbers, right? And if we don't find the indices, we will simply return an empty array, right? So so let's copy this uh, let's copy this code and paste it to the LeetCode. So let me open the LeetCode here. Let's paste it here and check what is the output, right? Okay, it's accepted. Now if we submit the code, right, we'll see what is the result. So you can see here, right? So the runtime is 40 millisecond and it beats 32%. So it taking up lot of time, right? 40 millisecond is lot of time. So how can we optimize this, right? Using hash map, right? So here is a hash map. So as you know, hash map has key value architecture, right? So in hash map, we store key and value. So for this solution, what we will do, we will we will first we will find complement, right? So how can we find the complement? So we will minus target minus the index value, right? So here 9 minus 2 equal to 7. Then what we'll do, we will check in our hash map, right, if the complement is present. So as you can see, initially this hash map has no value, right? No key value, so it is basically empty. Now we will check. So if if the complement is not present in hash map, we will add the key as a index value, which is 2, right, and value as a index, which is 0. Similarly, we will do the same thing for second element, right? So we'll check that 9 minus 11 equal to minus 2. Now we will again check our hash map if minus 2 present or not, right? So we'll see that minus 2 is not present. So we will add the value, which is 11, and the index, which is 1, right? Similarly, again we will iterate this loop. So next element is 15, right? And in 15 minus 9, which is minus 6, the complement is 6, and we'll check in our hash map if it's present or not. So it's not present, so we will add the index value, which is 15, and index value 2, right? Now again we will go to the next element, which is 7, right? We will again compute complement. So 9 minus 7 is equal to 2. So we will check in our hash map, and we find out that 2 is present. 2 is already present, right? So what we'll do, we will return the indexes, right? So 2 is present at index 0, and the current index for our loop is at 3, so it will return 3, right? So we will return these indexes. So the time complexity for this approach is order of n, which is much efficient than our previous brute force approach, right? So let's write our code in Eclipse. Then we will paste into then we will paste into LeetCode and check the result, right? So okay, so here we are in our ID, right? So first what we have to do is just return, just delete this inner loop, right? We will only need to iterate this for loop, one for loop, right? And what we'll do, we have to create a hash map for that. So we'll create hash map, and the argument will be integer type. We cannot put int primitive value, it will not support, right? So we have to use integer or wrapper class, right? So we will write integer, key as an integer, and value also will be integer, right? And we will write here map. So we'll create this object, right? Okay, so we have created hash map, right? But first, so every time inside this loop, right, we have to find complement, right? So what we will do, we have to find complement. So the idea is to find the complement is target minus, not I, here we cannot I, we want the value of that index, so we will write num, which is I, right? So this will give us complement, and we check if, so we'll check if map dot contains what can complement. So if complement is present in our map, right, we will return indices of those two number, right? So first we have to write map dot get contains map dot get, and will return I right here. So first, this is the condition, right? If complement is present in our map, we will return the indices of those two number. If not, we will simply put simply put key as a value, index value, right? So here we have I and index as a index, right? So we'll simply put this here. Now let's copy this code and paste it inside our LeetCode. Let's go there and just copy this code here. Just copy this code, just paste it here and just try to run. So we'll check what is the output. Okay, there is a mismatch. Let me debug what is the problem. So there is a parenthesis missing, right? So let's save this and run it again. Yeah, let's submit it. Okay guys, now you can see here, right? This is, it takes 2 milliseconds and it beats 90% of the same codes that other people are did, right? Okay, great. So that's it for today's tutorial on solving LeetCode to some problem in Java. We started with brute force approach and improved it using hashmap for efficiency. I hope this helped you understand how to optimize your code for coding interviews. Thank you guys. We'll see you in next video.